morning, intuitives and fellow survivors of narcissistic abuse. Apologize, I wasn't able to get a video up yesterday. My aunt was here and we're going through my mom's walk-in closet, which is not even half done yet. Filled a whole car full of stuff, which is shoes and purses. Although, a couple of my female friends are quite happy because I'm like, stop by and take one of these Kate Spade bags with you because I can't donate these. This should win me points with people. You know, Plus they were all happy. I don't know, something with girls and designer bags. Especially Kate Spade. When I was a teenager, that's when those little backpack things were in the early 2000s, and I may or may not have been moving some of those that fell off a truck to help out, a connected family friend. But allegedly, early 2000s, I was under 18, allegedly. So just saying, Kate Spade bags brought back memories from when I was like 16, 17 years old. Those of you that are new, welcome. Those of you that watch and don't subscribe, please subscribe because it helps with the algorithm and it doesn't cost you anything. And those of you that are subscribed or not, and if my videos help you and you appreciate my style of channel, you can hit the super thanks button and throw a $5 my way to give me a little motivation to keep doing this or to up my frequency of videos. Or just because it's the holiday season. Happy Yule. But what I want to get into today is an important topic in narcissistic abuse, and one that's really not talked about enough, because every narcissism channel talks about how ideally, when dealing with a narcissist or a borderline or a histrionic, the ideal situation is to go no contact. No contact can be tricky. No contact is the best solution in my opinion as well. However, what do you do if you're in a situation where no contact is not possible? What is the compromise position? And it's called low contact. Low contact, however, isn't talked about enough. And low contact, there are certain ways to do it to have its best results. There's many reasons why you have to be low contact instead of no contact. Maybe you're a minor and you can't leave your parents' house, or you're flat broke, or you're recovering from some serious injury, or you have children with the narcissist, so you have that co-parenting thing going on where you have to have minimal contact, or you work with the narcissist and you can't find another decent job right away. So low contact is what you do until no contact becomes possible. And low contact gets complicated. People who have been scapegoated often decide to maintain low contact with their abuser for some very complex reasons. Current circumstance that dictates that it's required, or that obligation. Yeah, and one of the biggest things when I was researching this, some people don't go no contact because, quote, this really hits home, they're afraid they won't fit in the clique in their little small town if they talk bad about somebody who's popular and has sway. It's like, ooh, that's like right from the Chestertology playbook, or if they belong to the same organizations, or they work together and works high schooly and cliquey. It's like, I gotta look up whoever wrote, the article I read about. It's like, I think I know where you're from. So, what is healthy versus unhealthy low contact? The goal of low contact itself is to increase personal control regarding the amount of frequency of contact with the difficult or abusive person, i.e. the narcissist or the borderline, otherwise known as the people who use you as a scapegoat, thereby managing peace of mind, time, and to the best of one's abilities. If you're going to be low contact, it's important to get clear your motivation in your own mind about why you're going low contact. Not just why you're going low contact because the abuse may be obvious, but you have to talk like, why are you going low contact and not no contact? Is no contact truly not an option for you at that time? And be realistic about what you hope to accomplish by low contact. Do not think that, oh, I'm going to go low contact and this person's going to see that I'm starting to keep my distance. I'm going to put up boundaries and then they're going to change their behavior towards me and it's all going to be okay. Nope. No, 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 nope. They're not going to change. The narcissist doesn't change. They hate change. Change is a dirty word. If they're happy with their status quo, and part of that status quo is scapegoating you and them getting supply from it, they want to continue that. And so by hoping that, they're going to, one of the fallacies of low contact is probably because you're going to get away from this person to a large degree. You're going to be around other groups of people. You're probably going to, you're going to become a lot happier. A lot of aspects of your life may improve: work, relationship, friends, etc. So you're going to be happier in general when you have these low contact occurrences with this person. That's going to piss them off, because if you are a scapegoat of a narcissist or a borderline, they fucking lose it every time, like, you get something you want, even if it has nothing to do with them. Like if you start getting close to somebody romantically, and I'm not, and we're in this case, we're talking somebody that the narcissist wouldn't be into even. They just don't want to see you happy. They will go out of their way to try to destroy that because they see you pulling yourself out of that hole. That might be, that relationship could potentially be the catapult that gets you over that wall, that you're boxed into, where you're the scapegoat and the abuser. So they can't have that. Be aware of that when you're low contact. Yes, you have to deal with them a lot less often, but when you do, it's going to be worse. They're going to try to make up for it. Otherwise known as holidays in my life from like college till 3 years ago. By the way, my my family brought up again how I called out my cousin's affairs 2020 Christmas, and made a scene after he attacked me for suing Arlington County Fire Department for what they did. And he claims, well, I know what really happened. One, he's never lived in anywhere outside of Chester County. He's never been a professional firefighter. He doesn't know any of those people. And most importantly, he wasn't there. Not to mention, not to mention, he's like, well, no one will testify on your side. People as high as the rank of battalion chief did. So, and again, these were people that were actually there. Well, regardless, but that was brought up, from 2020 now. That's the narcissist, and especially when you're low contact, they're really gonna go for it. So if you have been facing, a lot of hostility from certain people and low contact is your only option, make sure to assess like the toll that it's taking on you, what you hope to accomplish by low contact. And there's some red flags that you're going to have to deal with when you're going low contact. The narcissist is going to try to feed on these, but you got to be aware it's coming. It's going to include a false sense of guilt for pulling back, especially if you're going low contact with a borderline. They are really going to lay that false guilt on, especially if you're their favorite person. Shame, anxiety, loneliness, and traumatic attachment. Be aware of the other self-explanatory. Be aware of traumatic attachment. You get so used to, and you've normalized that abuse so much that it's going to feel weird being free of it for the most part. Maybe the Stockholm syndrome has set in, but you have to be honest about how unhealthy that relationship is and how you really were mentally. And keep in mind too, don't forget this, because I'm sure, if you're in this position, I've seen it. If you're happier and more of your true self when your abuser isn't around and people notice that, that's all the evidence you need. Do not fall into the guilt trap of I don't know what I'd do without you. I need you so much, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they need to abuse you to feel better about themselves, and they enjoy the exploitation of taking somebody's free will away and destroying their lives. So their only purpose is to be their caretaker and their whore, depending on the situation. Yeah, that's what that's what the guilt really can. It's like, no, my God, don't make me make me do things for myself. It's your job to take care of me. So with anything, there's pros and cons of no contact. I'm sorry, low contact. There's pros and cons of no contact and low contact, and it's something to be aware of. And it also ties into how you decide between no and low contact. No contact can feel harder at first because you're completely removing yourself from that situation. It's, rip the band-aid off, and you're going to your life's going to be drastically different all at once, and there's adjustment periods. And I talked about the guilt and the hoovering going to come hard if you go no contact, and that's harder. Like I said, no contact harder at first. Low contact is harder over time because low contact can be challenging when people who either scapegoat you or don't respect you continuously try to reassert their dominance and control or ownership over you during the times when you have contact. And be aware, if you go low contact, these people that are getting supply from you, they're going to seek you out more and more. They're going to try to insert themselves in aspects of your life that they weren't previously a part of because they feel control slipping away. They see you becoming, somewhat empowered, and they can't have that because if you become empowered, then you're a threat to their precious status quo, which, oh, they love it so much. And there's ways to make low contact work. It's important to know. Ask yourself, does the relationship matter enough to make an ongoing investment? Meaning, why are you low contact and not no contact? Like I said, there's certain situations, if you're a minor, if, this is someone you have a kid with, but if it's a friend or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, why? Why aren't you going no contact? You really got to think about that. You have to be the one who decides the frequency of when you talk, for how long, and for what the topics are. Set limits. If you're going to be low contact, you have to set boundaries. And I know for some of you, that's nearly impossible on this channel. Yes, ENFJs, I'm calling you out. The sweet little ENFJs. And when you do, this will be a separate video, but when you are low contact with somebody, you also have to learn the gray rock method. And again, that's a video in itself, but you can look it up in the meantime. You have to determine through trial and error how much is too much in terms of contact, and to see if they're going to respect those boundaries. Most likely not. Maybe the only time I can really think of that working would be like if you're older and you have your own kids and you have narcissistic parents, the narcissistic boomer parents might respect boundaries, because otherwise you can, cut off their contact with the grandkids. That gives you a certain amount of power. You have to decide on your bottom line regarding those boundaries, meaning where's the red line? If they cross that line, then boom, they're done. You gotta hold the line. Like, you actually have to follow through. Narcissists love empty threats and continue habitually stepping the line. That's why you must hold it. 52-40 or fight. ENFJs, this is for you. Again, this will make low contact very, 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 very difficult. You have to be able to say no. My intuition just heard a couple ENFJ viewers faint because they see that as a near impossibility. It's not. It's not, ENFJs. You have rage too. You have to learn how to let the rage out. Yeah, let the rage out. Us INFJs are good at that. Sometimes too good. Be prepared for challenges and blowbacks for people who don't hear you or respect you saying no. And you must be able to assertively defend your ground. Try to appear busy, like you're not easily available, like you got a lot going on. If you're legitimately busy, then you should be in the clear, because guess what? These are narcissists. They're the kind of people that if you say you're busy, they'll show up to your place and barge their way in and refuse to leave until they get their way. I've seen that go down too. So be aware for that. Keep contact superficial, neutral topics, current events, nothing that can give them information on you and your emotions that they can use as ammo later, because that's what they do. And especially with borderlines, nothing that they can use to guilt trip you. They will guilt trip you any chance they get. Be aware of the toxic manipulative dynamics. They're going to come at you with a lot of false blame now and a lot of projection. They're going to try to pretend that they're the victim and they're so hurt because you're not with them every second and they need you as supply. And now they're the victims because you asserted your free will and said, my life doesn't revolve around serving you. But to them, that's against them because they see you as property. Got it? Realize who your true allies in protection are in every situation. Like, who are the people in your life that not only understand this situation, but will actually stand up and call out a narcissist? In other words, what INFJs in your life. So you need to keep them aware of what's going on, because push comes to shove. If the narcissist isn't going to take no for an answer, these are the people you can turn to for actual advice and who will actually, back you up when the situation gets bad. I know, few and far between, but they exist. You have to let go of your need for approval. People pleasers, if you're going to be low contact or no contact, but we're talking about low contact, you have to stop wanting everybody's approval and thinking that your purpose is to serve everybody else, because otherwise you'll have no free will and thus you won't be able to go low contact. Well, here's a big one. You got to trust your intuition on dealing with these people. Your intuition will tell you how long when you can interact with them and for how long. And you have to trust your intuition when the situation's going south. You have to get out of there. Irish goodbye if you have to. I did a video on that. But you have to you can't ignore your intuition. That'll start a slide and it'll lead back to the very status quo that you just fought your way out of, and it wasn't easy. Do you want to make that fight again? If you can't hold your ground and you can't say no and you can't set boundaries, you're gonna be back in the situation you were before low contact, and you struggled to get out of that the first time. Yeah. So it's easier to hold the line than to crawl out of the hole again. Face reality. Face the reality about who these people truly are and why you want to get away from them. Face the reality that they have no empathy or they don't care about you. They want to use and exploit you for whatever their feeling is at that moment. You exist only to serve at their whim. It's always about them. It's always going to be about them. They won't change and they feel that they have the right to control your life. You have to accept that when you're going low contact. Otherwise, the false guilt trips and the histrionics and the meltdowns are going to work and you're going to be right back where you started. Do not be seduced by temporary and false improvements of behavior. Because what narcs will do, borderlines will try, but this is more of a narc thing. They'll hear what you're saying and they'll put the mask on and they'll play the character of the person you want them to be just long enough to get you back in, because they can't maintain that very long. But long enough to be like, see, I listen and I've changed. And then as soon as they know that you're back in their clutches, right back to their status quo, and then you're starting from square one again. Remember, how much time it took you to realize I have to go low contact. Never forget each and one of those every reasons, and know that if you don't or you go back, those patterns of behavior that led you to going low contact are going to continue and possibly even be worse. You have to observe their bad behavior without absorbing it. You have to realize what is right from wrong, how you deserve to be treated, and to let them know that you're entitled to the same rights that they are. They will never believe that, but let them know, like, you have every right as an adult to have your own free will to associate with who you want to when you want to. No matter who the narcissist thinks there is, they don't get to control your life. So I hope this video gave some insight onto low contact, why it's used instead of no contact, and how to use low contact as a successful strategy for dealing with a narcissist or a borderline. However, I will say that low contact is meant to be a temporary solution until no contact is possible. So trust your intuition on your situation if you should be low contact as opposed to no contact. Don't sell out your integrity to the narcissist or borderline when they put a mask on and try to fake rational behavior for a short period of time. So please like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. Leave comments. That helps the algorithm too. And if this video or any others have helped you, then probably some other ones would too. So go back and check the old videos out. And if I really, really helped you, you can hit the super thanks button. And I'll be back later today.